All right, 3.18's been having some issues, so let's watch this, boys. Hmm.
Hey fellow Star Citizens, Scrapchat here. The rumor mill is swirling about a potential 3.18.1 patch, which will include a soft wipe to help alleviate the issues we're currently.
Yeah, I think this would be really smart because at the beginning of Wipe, when it first happened, there was some bugs and stuff like that, but you were able to play the game. And I think maybe where it all went wrong is, yeah, yes, there was a lot of players logging into the game, which obviously they couldn't even think that that many players were gonna log into the game. Like let's say even in their head, they're like, okay, we have this many people playing the game currently. You as normal, you would be like, okay, that's probably gonna double, but it didn't. I think it like tripled or something like that. It was crazy how many people were there at Wipe. But on top of that, there was so many people that were talking about duping glitches. So I wonder how much of people duping actually broke the game. You know, I'm not talking about like, oh well, it's a little buggy, it's a little not buggy. You know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how many people actually went in and duped and crashed like servers or made servers unplayable or anything like that. But I think when you combine like everything together, it, thousands and thousands of players playing the game, people duping, thousands and thousands of players trying to bring out ships, thousands and thousands of players trying to do missions. It all adds up onto a server. And you would think, oh, well, why did it work before and why isn't it working now? Well, a big thing for that is they just added the what is it? It's the thing that makes it where loot doesn't despawn as fast, right? Where it's like the meshing or whatever. It that thing makes servers laggy. It sounds good. It sounds great. But in reality, it lags servers. So unless they did a player test where they're like, "Hey guys, we want everybody to play the PTU," they couldn't have predicted this. And I think that's fair to say that they couldn't have predicted it. The only way is literally if they had millions of players hop on the PTU to test this out. And I genuinely think that's the only way that they could have caught it beforehand.
Seeing with Star Citizen. I, for one, can't even get into the game, much less be tormented by the.
Yeah, neither can I. It really depends on time. I feel like early in the morning, like it is right now, I might be able to log in, but I can't do anything in the game. Later at night, though, you can't even get in because there's so many people that are just sitting there spam clicking their mouse to hit login. Literally, I was reading forums and people were like, "Yeah, I have an auto clicker going, so that way it just auto clicks and it just like basically they have it set up to where it hits login. If they get an error code, it hits OK, and it just goes back and forth. It's like y- that's part of the problem. What what is there not to understand? Setting up an auto clicker or just spam clicking it over and over again crashes their systems. Like that's a really big thing that people don't understand, right? For example, let's say you open 6,000 Google Chrome tabs, right? Is your PC going to run well after that? No. So why would you expect it if you just keep spam clicking for it to be fine? And I'm not saying that like trying to get in is a bad thing. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But I'm saying when you just sit there and you're spamming it constantly, you're kind of part of the problem, you know? Or you're the guy that's sitting there duping or something like that. You know, you're kind of part of the problem.
Outstanding bugs that I was experiencing yesterday. I recently found a Reddit post that was listed as.
Will introduce a partial wipe. This means that while you'll keep your Yuk, Earn, and Reputation status in game, items purchased or looted will be wiped. For the reason, we suggest not going too wild with spending your Yuk before the 3.18.1 patch. Yeah, and this makes sense because this is, like I said, there was a duping issue.
As a dev response to a player writing in to say they were having a lot of issues playing the game. The response indicated a patch accompanied by a soft wipe would be happening, but didn't provide a firm date. Let's take a look at the post. I circled the paragraph we're interested in. And it says,
Oh, he's gonna
please
read
note
it.
also that the 3.18.1 patch will introduce a partial wipe. This means that you'll keep your AUEC earned and reputation status. In-game items purchased or looted will be wiped. For that reason, we suggest not going too wild with spending your AUEC before that 3.18.1 follow-up patch rolls out. So, there you go. As I read through the comments, I came across this comment to that post from the SIG community manager, effectively contradicting what the dev response said. Let's take a look at the CMM's response.
Wait, okay, hold on. I'm gonna skip over this part of the video, but that's fine. Hi all, adding a few important notes. While a partial wipe is always possible, 3.18.1, if we were to encounter some catastrophic issues, we do not currently expect to wipe. However, in the event that it does appear necessary, I want to assure you that your hard-earned Yuck reputation remain intact. The only items that would be affected are those that obtained through in-game purchases or looting. Fortunately, I have some good news to share as well. Even though ships purchased in-game would be wiped, our systems would still retain the necessary information to allow us to remember them and restore them to you in the future update. I'd like to reiterate the execution of the partial wipe is currently not expected. If that ever changes, we'll promptly update you to keep you informed. Updated my message to be more clear that we currently do not expect to wipe. Okay. I think it's good, but at the same time, in my head, does he just talk about this for the rest of the video? Okay, I'll let this video play like off screen. But I think in my head, a partial wipe makes sense for the items, right? It does. It kind of sucks because I've been really stockpiling stuff the last few days, so I'm gonna be kind of messed up, man. Like I already have like a pretty good stash of like snipers and stuff, so but it doesn't matter. I would prefer that the game works and it plays fine. And like I said, I think the players need to be a little bit more understanding and a little bit more patient, because when you have millions of people just sitting there spamming login, or sitting there spamming to get their ship out, or sitting there spamming to dupe an item, or you know they're just spam crashing over and over again, because there is players that do that. We know 100% there's players who start the game, they all fly into the air, they die with like a backpack in their ship so they can turn their ship into a cargo box. So it's like when you have everybody do that day one, right? All of those things combined. I'm not talking about they did one or the other. All of them combined. I feel like you are guaranteed to run across some issues, and I think players should just be a little bit more understanding. Like, obviously, one guy doing it isn't really going to do much, but when you have a few thousand people doing it, it's going to do a lot. It's going to do a lot, and it's when all those are combined. I'm not saying like when one thing is happening, right? Like if a few thousand players are trying to take out their ships at the same time, it would probably just lag, go about it today, whatever. But when everything is combined, the duping, the ships pulling out, the spamming to get into server, the spamming to log in, the spamming to get loot boxes, the everybody trying to load loot boxes at the same time, the spamming, but like when all of it's happening, it's something that was very unpredictable. And I think that you definitely give them the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, this sucks, but it is what it is at the end of the day, you know? And I think that's a really big thing that a lot of players should just look at is, yes, it does suck, but at the end of the day, like you can't do anything about it. And but you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not the issue whatsoever. I highly doubt it, but maybe there was no issues with actual server side, or because of the players. Maybe it was all of them. It could 100% be. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and genuinely, like, let me know what you guys have your own opinions on, because I'm very curious to see what the community thinks outside of I can't log in, it sucks, you know? because I'm curious to see what other people are thinking about it. Like, are you going to quit the game completely? Maybe you're just going to wait until 4.0. Like, what are you thinking in the game? Besides that, hope everybody enjoyed. Peace.